gambles as he did before, or if he changes his strategy up. And we are off with, that's not the way we want to start out this race.
No. Well, the interesting thing is that they said it at Uncle Assured, so it looks like they're both taking advantage of that, going right up to get a sword from Uncle.
That is something nice that they both said, yeah, we like our swords, and also an 8 bomb drop for both of them to start out with. That's nice. Hearts from the tree pull right now, so we'll get our sword from the uncle, and what else will we have?
There's often something pretty interesting in the chest near Uncle.
So there is a question in chat, and I would be remiss if we didn't explain it for anyone who might be new or joining in our cast. What is key sanity? And boy, that's a loaded question. So in normal,
how long an explanation do you want?
Yeah. In normal randomizer, all of the items are mixed up, but the dungeon items, such as the big keys, small keys, maps, and compasses, are all still within their respective dungeons. In Key Sanity, all of those things are in the generalized item pool. So the individual keys for all the dungeons are out in the wild and can be anywhere. That does mean you have to plan a little bit more ahead. For example, going into Palace of Darkness when you only have one key, probably not going to get too terribly far. At the same time, it means that you can hold off on going anywhere. For example, Thieves Town, really not a great check until you have that big key. Really allows for some interesting routing decisions and choices. Can also make for a linear seed, so it'll depend on what these runners end up doing and the choices they make.
And it also results in, probably overall more items being found in dungeons, because now you start getting maps and compasses showing up in the overworld.
Absolutely. So a place before that, would have fewer items, say a Misery Mire, which would before only have 3 items or 2 items, right? Because there are so many keys that are in that dungeon, all those treasure chests now have a great deal of value to them. So Misery Mire becomes more valuable. The other part of Key Sanity that we should note is, and it doesn't necessarily matter a whole lot for these runners, is that we do not know what the crystals and pendant dungeons are. Once we have the map for each dungeon, we can check it out and see exactly where that is when we do our map check. But otherwise, we're kind of lost.
And it looks like both runners will be death warping out of here, which makes sense if they don't actually have to rescue Zelda in open mode. Oh yeah, the other thing I was going to say, just as we're getting farther into the group stage, the stakes are getting a bit higher. So for Eri here, if he wins this, he will clinch at least a tiebreaker for his group for advancing into the bracket stage.
That's true. So a lot on the line for Eri here. Hahasell, I think, is statistically eliminated. This is one of those groups that really was able to power through a lot of their matches early on. So a lot of the other groups don't have much decisions made as of yet, but we're getting close.
Yeah, a number of runners in this group only have... I think this is actually Haha's next to last game.
Ooh, shovel right out away for us. That will be interesting in terms of where we end up routing things to go from here. Eri looking like he's not going to necessarily check what's on the lumberjack ledge, but we'll be doing the standard routing up into the Lost Woods to get those 2 items up here.
Yeah, a lot of runners these days don't check lumberjack unless they actually have the boots. And our tree pull prize is just green rupees.
Okay, so Eri just picked up a small key to Ice Palace, and I mean, it's nice, but keys in Ice Palace, you don't really need many of them. They can make it more efficient to route, but I don't think you need any.
Yeah, I think you can do it without picking up any, but yeah, it means you can get to Spike Room faster, basically. This is all, of course, assuming you can pull off the bomb jump, which any runner at this level can.
All right, so we're in Kakariko proper. Lots of checks to make here, and usually this is where we get our first hints of where the seed wants us to go. Eri is going to show us we have life.
Oh, and the flute. That's convenient. They can activate the duck pretty quickly.
Yeah, that's really nice, actually, considering that it's literally right here. The fewer times you have to run back here to Kakariko Village, the better. Plus, it's our method to really navigate around the world very quickly, so nice pickup there for both runners. Not much pointing us in any specific direction yet, though.
Oh, and another detail of key sanity, even though this is less important in an all dungeon seed. Oh, an early lamp. So, guess no dark rooms today. As I was saying, less important in an all dungeon seed, but when you acquire a map for a dungeon, that's when you find out whether it's a pendant or a crystal dungeon on your map. Until then, it won't show up.
Also, flippers. So we're starting to get some things pointed, and we have
And
a big
silvers.
Key. And the big key to Tower of Hera from the bottle vendor. So remember, this isn't all dungeons complete. So even if Tower of Hera is a pendant, we're going to have to go up there anyway. So all the big keys will need, well, they won't all need to be found, for example. You can get around the big key requirement in Skull Woods, in Ice Palace, and in Swamp Palace.
But yes, in Tower of Hera, you're not getting out of the first floor without the big key.
Nope. Logically, we're missing just one item from being able to go up to Tower of Hera, so that might be where we end up going. But we're still missing a mirror to be able to get there. We shall see if we end up finding that mirror. I can imagine these runners will make a beeline up in that direction, but still lots of places for us to check.
Or there's always the possibility of hookshot plus hammer for getting up there.
True, true.
Nothing interesting in the library today. Looks like someone got their wallet stolen as a prank and it was put on top of a bookshelf.
That would be kind of funny.
Interestingly, Haha is just going for the maze race, which turns out to be the right call. It's a big key.
Well, and that's a call you'll see more in Key Sanity than you will in normal runs. Because there's so much more value that's out in the world, it's absolutely worthwhile. Just the percentages end up saying it's a better play to just go ahead and check it. A lot of runners just opt not to because of either habit.
GT big key this early in the game.
For those of you who guessed number, 23, you're the winner this time.
What did we just see on that very quick map check? Eastern Palace Crystal. Oh, 5-6 Crystal even, according to the tracker.
So burying a lot of treasure here. $50.
And thanks to the early flute, an express route to the dam. Now it'll be interesting since they still have, the checks in Mini Moldorm Cave and a few other places. Since they have early flippers, will they be able to get Zora money between here and Zora, assuming they take the standard route of going for a swim after checking Southside?
It wouldn't be out of the question. Hahasell and Eri, both of them opting to go ahead and get that heart container. Been a little light on hearts, and that can be a function of key sanity as well, because everything's mixed up in the world. You end up getting fewer heart containers immediately in these dense locations, so grab your health while you can.
Yeah, especially since we have no idea where the armor upgrades are in this seed yet.
All right, so Eri first one into Mini Moldor. Money, map. That's a T-Rock, money, and a piece of heart. I'm a little bit disappointed in this case.
So am I. Like, I think of Mini Moldorm as the new hype for all those times when hype's disappointing.
Eri actually fluting away. He says, "Nah, man, we're gonna do something crazy." Now, Old Man isn't logic because of the flute and the lamp. Normally, you would, have to see something like the glove upgrade for him to be in logic. So this is kind of an interesting play, following the breadcrumbs that he's been given. We'll see if the Old Man ends up having something for us. Haha is doing kind of, I would say, the more traditional play, going over here to Ice Rod Cave. Oh!
Ooh. Yeah, those crabs take, 3 hearts with green armor?
Yeah, they hurt. They hurt quite a bit. And the Old Man gives you some explosives.
And Eri only has one other check he can do on Death Mountain without either the mirror or the hook shot. Looks like Haha's gonna take another stab at Ice Rod Cave.
The other thing that makes this trip that Eri's making a little bit more efficient is this hint tile that's up here. And the latest versions of the randomizer, of course, are hints that will help us out sometimes, depending.
What's today's first hint? Well, we knew that.
Thanks, game.
The hints have a bad habit sometimes of telling you what you already knew. So the other thing is the presence of hint tiles will sometimes affect how runners approach an area. Like, before that tile had a hint on it, runners would usually walk into Spectacle Rock, see what the item there was, and if it was worth getting. Now they'll usually just go there because they'll want to check the hint regardless of what the item is.
Absolutely. And we've seen, Eriror just showed us, Haha is checking now some of these flipper locations now that he's finished with Ice Rod Cave. Found absolutely nothing. 300 rupees, though, in that we're getting close to Zora money already. And Zora's in logic, so we may see a trip up there if we can get some more money.
But it looks like Haha isn't... Haha's just warping back down there so he doesn't have to take a swim, I see. Eri's doing more non-standard plays, taking advantage of the flute and seeing if Aegina has anything this early.
Well, and this is a function of how well Eri is doing, I think, in the group. He is, and this is really very impressive. Eri is undefeated in group stage right now. Undefeated, period. So he can make low percent plays and just saying, hey, if I make one good low percent play and it wins me a race, I'm in. And he can do that because of how well he's played up to this point in time. Runners who maybe are more on the bubble have to do some other things maybe and gamble a little bit less or more strategically.
And unfortunately, Haha did not find any money in Waterfall Cave, though he did find the cape, but he's 51 rupees short of Zora money. And now he's doing the Death Mountain check as well, where he'll get a heart container from Spectacle Rock, but not much else.
Oh, so we're learning. Sahasrara tells us the green pendant is in Misery Mire. I mean, we have to do everything anyway, so that's good information. Uh-oh, there's the mirror.
Oh. He wanted to hide just how vain he is, so he stored the mirror in his closet.
Well, that does logically open up Tower of Hera, and since we already have the Tower of Hera big key, I mean, Eriror found that, and he's like, yep, we're going right there.
Yeah, and Key Sanity makes checking Hera Basement incredibly unlikely unless you get a specific hint about something being in Hera Basement. Most runners are just going to take the chance and hope there's nothing important there. And in this case, they couldn't check it even if they wanted to because they haven't found the key.
Wouldn't that be something, though, if we end up getting a hint late in the game that something is there and we skipped it the entire time? That would be great.
At least it's easy enough to get back to.
So just a piece of heart and one location in the basement and a couple hint tiles here. Big key of Evil's Banes. Thanks, game. Wow, the hits are on a roll right now.
Yeah, well, and I've also seen sometimes you'll get multiple hints about the same object worded slightly differently. Like you'll get, the Cane of Samaria and some rupees are on the west side of Swamp Palace, and then you'll get the Cane of Samaria is in Swamp Palace.
Okay, that was actually a worthwhile hint. That told us a unique item is in the big chest in Swamp Palace. So that'll be attractive to be able to get at some point in time. And that was the small key to Swamp Palace. So,
and we also got a glove in the previous chest.
Oh, that was a pot.
Just in case any viewers missed that.
Yeah, glove seems about logically right. They're the next thing that really opened. Well,
Well, either that or 2 keys to Castle Tower.
This is true. That's the one thing that it's worth noting, especially in Key Sanity. Aga logic in early game is really unlikely because you do need, in addition to a sword, I mean, the normal requirements for Aga, you do need those 2 Castle Tower keys, and it just makes it that much more unlikely for an early game.
Yeah, if this were oh, and there's the other glove upgrade from Haha. But yeah, if this were a normal mode, we would actually have the requirements for putting Aga Tower in Logic right now.
That we would. We're missing those tower keys, so 2 lift upgrades already. That's okay. So we're a Moon Pearl away from Dark World access.
Yeah, and with the flippers, that actually would give us full Dark World access once we have the Moon Pearl.
Chat pointing out that because of having the flute and the mirror, that does actually unlock us into Desert Palace as well as Checkerboard Cave. So good to know. Big key to Ice Palace as well as in the back of Escape.
Another mostly useless key, but it does mean they can check the big chest once they go through there. Oh, and another feature you might notice... Ooh, Boots and Turtle Rock. Another feature you might notice about Key Sanity, even though we know from Haha having gotten the map of Eastern Palace that it's a red crystal, you're hearing the Pendant Dungeon music playing. That's just to make sure that runners can't infer what the prize for the dungeon is without having the map.
So there we just saw Eri end up doing the Hula Hand room, and that seems to indicate, and he's on track to go ahead and go down and do the Zora play. He didn't quite have enough crystals, or how much money, so doing that ensures that he will have enough money to make it more valuable of a check there. And yeah, Eri did also show us the tile that announces the winners of all the previous tournaments. The first two winners in 2017 in the spring and fall tournaments were Ajnab, also known as Ben, and then our last spring tournament winner was Andy. All right, so I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, with that Skullwood's small key, I don't think any Skullwood small keys are actually necessary, because there's the one under the pot for going to the back, and you know that there'll always be a small key by logic in... I forget what that room is, but it's the one in kind of the southeast.
Yeah, it's kind of the Gibdo spike room. I know which one you're talking about. There's also the one on the Gibdo. One thing to note in Key Sanity, even though the keys in the treasure chest are mixed up in the logic all over the place, anything that is under a pot or skull or dropped by an enemy is still going to be there.
And Zora's apparently having some indigestion with some bad blueberries because that's what he coughed up today.
So Haha is actually on his way. He's in Tower of Hera. He might be the first one to get both myths. Although Eri looks like he might be heading over to Eastern Palace. One thing in Key Sanity, you can't be nervous about double dipping dungeons. It's going to happen. It happens a lot.
So they should get their mitts at just about the same time, I would think. Oh. No, Eri's going straight for Eastern. Oh, right, yes, right. He already did Sahasrara.
Yep. So, I mean, they're going to get their glove upgrades very, very close to one another. At this point, it feels like, the first one to check out what's in Desert Palace or Checkerboard Cave is going to be kind of the next one to that next level of progression. Everything seems to be pointing in that particular direction.
Yeah, and remember, it is totally within logic to have the Moon Pearl in Checkerboard Cave.
Absolutely. The rough thing right now is we have no other access to Desert Palace. We don't have the small key that's there. We also do not have the big key. So when we go over to Desert, we have one check plus a hint tile that we can really do, unless we go back and steal the key from the back to use in the front.
Right, but that's not in logic, because logic always assumes you use the keys in the stupidest way possible.
I mean, that's a pretty stupid way of using the keys.
Hey, it
That may
has
just
2
be
checks
me.
versus only 1 check on Landmo, which we couldn't even get at.
I mean, I say it's a stupid play. I've done it too, so I can't really talk too much nonsense there.
Yeah, and we know the boots are in TR, so it'll be a long time before we can get whatever's on the torch and desert.
All right, so where is Haha going? Yeah, it looks like he's going right. Oh, he's going to make the play to check what's on the desert ledge and maybe Agina before diving in, maybe?
Makes sense. So Eri will actually save a bit of time here since now.
Yeah, all signs point to checkerboard or that one chest in desert. Even though we will have access to the Misery Mire shed, logically you need the Moon Pearl in order to access that. So we're probably not going to see that unless one of these runners ends up doing the Super Bunny glitch for it. And they're both going right about the same time. This is the sync. That is Ether Medallion on our access to Misery Mire, so that's worth noting. All right, so a bit of divergence here after the bottleneck. Eri is going to be checking the items in Desert Palace. Haha's going right to checkerboard.
Okay, just a compass on the torch, so we don't need that.
A unique item requires the hammer. Thanks, game.
And there are mere 25 hammer-locked chests in the game.
What? Wait, what?
A unique item requires the hammer. That means somewhere in one of the 25 chests that the game considers to be hammer-locked, there's some sort of unique item.
No. I get that. I was confused because neither checkerboard nor the one treasure chest we had in Desert had our logic.
Oh.
I mean, we have that one treasure chest in the back of Escape that we haven't really checked yet, and we have logical access to now with the lamp. But that's all I can think. I guess we also have the one treasure chest in Castle Tower as well. Yeah, that's where Eri is heading right now.
Yeah, it really shows you the difference with key sanity, because at this point in a regular seed, you know, the runners would just say to heck with it and fight Aghanim.
Yeah, no keys though, so we can check the first treasure chest, which is kind of a pain to get to. Haha looks like... What are you doing, Haha?
Oh, he never did Zora.
Oh, right. He didn't have the rupees to do Zora. So that Houlihan room actually paying dividends for Eri there.
Ball and chain guards with a fighter sword. That is nasty. Of course, the vanilla game never expected you to be in here with a fighter sword.
Yep, there we go. There's our access.
Way to troll us, Aga Tower. So with the mirror, we have quite a number of checks we can do in the Dark World now.
Oh yeah, things just opened up quite a bit for us. Ari is prioritizing still places that are locked that he has access to, like this Misery Mire shed. We do have access to pretty much the entire western portion of the Dark World. I guess
And
we do
the
have
eastern
access to
portion
eastern.
because of the flippers.
Now, I don't want to jinx it, but I do want to jinx it. There is a possibility that we are still looking at the mythical Hammer Fairy because our crystals, I believe. Oh no, wait. Well, Eastern Palace plus looks like Skull Woods. So neither of those are on the west part of Dark World. It is entirely possible that the hammer might be sitting on the Pyramid Fairy, at which point you can't flipper your way around with the big bomb. You would have to defeat Aga and then use that portal to go through. But that's so low percent, you know. It so rarely happens, but it's worth keeping an eye on.
We could have the mythical hammer on pedestal depending on where the third pendant is.
Oh.
No. Yes, if Thieves Town happens to have the third pendant, it would be theoretically possible for Hammer to be on Ped.
Alright, so Hahasell is also doing the check over here. There is the Ether Medallion right there in Skull Woods, so that opens up Misery Mire for us. Now, we don't have access past the front door because we don't have either the hookshot or the boots, so nice to know, but... Oh, well, speaking of our access into Misery Mire, there's our hook shot.
And that also opens up all of East Death Mountain, both light and dark, which amounts to what, something crazy like 15 chests or more.
I think, yeah, 15. I believe it's 15 in total.
Yeah. And we see there's nothing on Bumper Cave. That was it. And just a shield and Lumberjack.
Yeah, Lumberjack is interesting because of those extra possibilities. If you see any key there, it makes you super nervous about avoiding checking Lumberjack or avoiding Agina or Aghanim, I'm sorry. So many ag names. Can Hookshot open Swamp? Not really, because we don't have a Swamp Palace small key. I mean, we can get in the front door and check one treasure chest, but Swamp Palace is interesting because pretty much everything is locked behind that one small key.
And we also need the hammer to get past the first couple of chests in Swamp.
True. So, Blue Mail sitting there on the Graveyard Ledge. That's a nice pickup. Although we're sitting at 8 hearts, you know, not doing bad in terms of health, but not doing great. All right, so Ari with that hook shot even is still going back into the dark world. That's interesting. Looks like he's following an instinct that he has, and I don't know what that is. I'm gonna check these Village of Outcasts overworld checks.
Yeah, and he can also do the blacksmith quest easily enough.
Well, hi there, Kane of Samaria.
Guess there was something to be said for his instincts.
What was that? We wanted to do Misery Mire, at the 40-minute mark? Sure.
Still need the big key at some point.
Man, that big key has got to be right around the corner somewhere.
Yeah, if we find the Meyer big key here in Thieves Town, for instance, then we'll know what the game wants us to do next.
Eastern Palace. I was about to say, what? Eastern Palace Big Key doesn't really do a whole lot for us until, it's one location because of the big treasure chest.
Well, imagine Vanilla Bow.
Oh, a mushroom. So our second fetch quest of the game. And finally we have Piece of Heart. So
with the mirror, that also puts fake powder into play. So it'll be interesting to see if Eri decides to do that in conjunction with the blacksmith quest.
Haha is actually showing us something new over here. He's going to be checking what's on Catfish at the moment. Small key to Turtle Rock, and a big key to Turtle Rock.
I'd say the game was pointing us to TR, except we still don't have a hammer.
Yeah, hammer is kind of our big bottleneck at this point in time. We have a few different hints and some other places we can check. Misery Mire is kind of the main thing that's everything's been pointed out to us. Still need that big key though. And I think that's what Eri's doing. He's checking all the other overworld locations because if you find the big key that's still out there, when you get so many hints that Key Sanity is logically pointing you one direction, but you're still one or two short, checking everything else before you go there just to make sure that you're not missing out on something seems right. Where was Samaria? It was in the treasure chest game in the Village of Outcasts. Eri looks like he's going to be doing the Jeremiah loop here and immediately turning that in. Key to Skullwoods and Rupees. So Haha is actually up on Death Mountain. He's going to be doing those 15 checks you talked about earlier.
Unfortunately, Eri can't do hammer pegs, but I am curious if he's going to fake powder. Swagnet is the most interesting thing on Death Mountain so far.
Yeah, key to Ice Palace. I'm like, eh. And it does look like he's setting up fake powder. He's mirroring over here. So this is a sequence break that Eri's going to do. What you do is you have to drain all of your magic, which he will be doing very shortly. And then wait until you get that sound. And while using the Cane of Samaria, then switch over to the mushroom and it initiates powder. Because this game is so immaculately programmed, it doesn't have any bugs or glitches in it at all.
And a Quake Medallion. Which, since we're going to see very shortly from Haha whether whether T-Rock is in fact Quake. That may or may not be useful.
Eri, it looks like he's going back into the dark world. He's going to do kind of the interesting check. Nothing there on the floating island, just a compass, but Haha is going to show us what's required for Turtle Rock, and it is that Quake.
So there we go. Depending where the real powder is, that fake powder could wind up being a huge time save.
Compass to Eastern Palace. Big 20. Ooh, key. Small key to gain this tower. Okay. Well, we need a couple of those anyway. Nothing. There was nothing interesting up on Death Mountain. Unless we still have Spiral Cave. So, Eri found the hook or the fire rod as well. That's nice.
Which puts Skull Woods in logic. That is beating Skull Woods.
Yeah, that's 2 treasure checks there. The 1 treasure that's there plus our wonderful Mothula check. Stumpy just giving us 10 arrows.
So I'm going to guess unless there's something big in the purple chest, Eri will go to Skull Woods next.
A pod small key. I mean, that's not bad. That's 3 pod small keys that Hahasell now has. But going there without the bow or the hammer, I don't know.
Or the big key.
Or the big key, yeah. Oh! Our specialist gave us
Evil's Bane. Oh, sorry.
I was going to literally say the exact same thing.
So Haha will be getting his Cane of Samaria here.
And we have our Hype Cave check. I don't know. We'll see what this Hype Cave has for us. Everything else has been kind of meh right now. Most of these checks. I mean, Fire Rod was nice, but we'll see. Oh, big key to Misery Mire. Guess where we're going?
Oh, and there's the powder, so...
Okay, between the big key to Misery Mire, which we know we needed and probably needed very quickly, and the powder, which we know leads to Quake, which we know opens to Turtle Rock, that's a significant... That's at least 6, if not 7 to 10 Hype Cave.
You're a bit more generous than me. I probably would have called it 5, just because the other 3 chests were all still wastes.
Progress is progress, I would say.
But honestly, now that Skull Woods is in Logic, I would really like to see Eri do that, because now that we have full access to Mire, if Skull Woods is also a pendant, it is entirely possible that Hammer's on Ped.
Yeah, that could be something.
We could also have, like, Bow on Ped.
I don't know, yeah, having all of these, like, logical access to just the pendant dungeon so early does seem to hint that something big is on Ped, doesn't it? Doesn't guarantee it, but it hits very, very strongly at it.
Yeah. And I'm still, Oh, right, sorry, I got confused. Skull Woods is crystal. It's the question is whether Thieves Town is pendant. I got confused.
Yeah,
Well, we're about to find out whether Thieves Town is pendant.
So, I mean, there's a couple different things that are going on here. Because, I mean, we just need the Thieves Town big key in order to really be able to clear that out. The other thing is we really only need the Swamp Palace small key, and we can go ahead and do Swamp Palace as well.
Well, no, we still need the hammer for Swamp.
Oh, right. So really hoping for this pendant Thieves Town so we can have a possibility of a hammer on the ped, huh?
Yeah.
Because in Key Sanity, we always liked the crazy plays.
Alternatively, as long as Pod isn't the third pendant, we could still have Bow on ped.
It's interesting. I mean, we're 45 minutes into this race. We actually have pretty good knowledge of at least where the crystals and pendants are. Now, it's all dungeons, so these runners are going to have to do everything anyway. We're just speculating as to what could possibly be on the pedestal, what could possibly be on that pyramid fairy as well. So we're going to have to do it all anyway, one way or the other.
It's only a matter of time before either a Skullwoods or a Mire dive. Because those are, I think, the only two dungeons that we can full clear besides Terra, which we've already cleared.
Roamer 21XX gives us, one of the trolliest possibilities. Swamp Palace small key is vanilla, and hammer is in the next treasure chest right next to it. Because that would be horrifying. Logical, but horrifying.
I've seen the occasional vanilla Swamp Palace small key in Key Sanity.
Oh yeah, it could be there, yes. Looks like Hahasell actually avoided the fake powder play, even though he has the right setup for it. It doesn't necessarily matter in terms of logical access, because he's going to get the powder here directly anyway. What's concerning, though, is when does he go back to get that? Because Turtle Rock isn't, it requires Quake. He has to go back there eventually. Just don't know when he's going to get around to it.
Well, it also requires the hammer, so theoretically, if he waits until he has the hammer, he could go back and check both Magic Bat and Hammer Pegs at the same time.
True. Eriror, meanwhile, is making the play that we've been waiting for the past 20 minutes or so into Misery Mire.
And remember, this is also the green pendant, so we may get to, after this, see what the green pendant prize is on Saha.
Yeah, and as we mentioned earlier, remember that Misery Mire, because normally you just get a ton of keys from a lot of the treasure chests here, is a little bit more valuable than it is in a normal dungeon, normal randomizer seed anyway. The map to Hyrule Castle, because we needed to know what was going on there. Oh, Hahasell is turning in his mushroom. I think this is our first check for mushroom, actually. Well, there's the hammer.
Okay, well then. Hammerped dream is dead.
Yep, all the hammer logical possibilities are dead. Now, what isn't dead is still Bow on Ped.
Absolutely.
Haha also making his way here. There's the bow. I mean, loaded Misery Mire. We knew something was going to be here, but I didn't know. I don't think we expected it to be that loaded.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about the Godmire when you're in go mode and get the big key early in a normal randomizer, but this is beyond Godmire. And the best boomerang just for additional swag.
So you went into Misery Mire expecting, this might be a tough Vitreous fight if I just have Master Sword and nothing else, and you're able to get to the back and go, well, I have Silvers now. Rip.
Yeah, going to be one fast fitty fight. And in Keys... Well, sorry, I should say in version 30, this cutscene is slightly less annoying because you at least get that hint for your troubles. And now we know we're not going back to Hera Basement.
Never, ever, 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 ever. All right, 3 more checks here in Misery Mire. 1 regular treasure chest, big treasure chest, and of course Vitreous himself. Eriror showing us why. Oh no, he's. That was close.
Oh wow. Yeah, that was a bit of playing with fire. Even if Haha was the one playing with fire at the same time.
But Oh, and Eriror, I was like, Eriror, where are you going? What are you doing? And I realized he couldn't open that door because he doesn't have a small key. You can get around. It might take you a little bit longer, but he did have to kind of take the long way over here.
So with the hammer and Quake and the fire rod and Samaria, the first portion of TR is finally in logic. But we only have 1 small key.
Yeah, that's... Would you risk it right now? Would you risk it? Especially knowing that Turtle Rock has the boots.
Yeah, that... It is entirely possible there could be a required double dip of TR. I mean, what if Bonk Rocks or King's Tomb has a Turtle Rock key?
Yeah, then you're fine. But man, it's something you're concerned about. And I think... Do you do a save and quit just before so that you can check that middle treasure chest and then reset in case it's nothing? Or is that too much of a time commitment?
I mean, it takes a while to get back there. I probably wouldn't do it, but we'll see if either of these runners wants to, take a big risk.
Well, there's another pod small key, so that gives us 4 total pod small keys, in addition to the green pendant. And I'm pretty sure Eri knows the hammer yump to be able to completely skip the use of that door. So I think we're going over to pod now.
Yeah.
Oh, we don't have the big key, though, yet.
Oh, right, we still don't. I was about to say it's full clearable, but no, not without the big key.
Yeah, Eastern we have the big key, so I mean we go ahead and knock that out while you're in the area.
Yeah, there's so many chests in Pod, though, it could be worth a dive. And again,
And he's doing something different, because of course he is.
ice maybe? Yup.
Well, it makes sense, because you can go ahead and clear Ice Palace right now that you have logical access to clear it all. So you might as well do it. I mean, you even have the big key for it. You get a bunch of hint tiles. The lamp is in Kakariko. Well, thanks, game. Plus, if you happen to find the big key to Palace of Darkness while in Ice Palace, it just makes it that much more logical.
So what do we actually need remaining in this game? Obviously a few more big keys like Pod and Desert, several more TR small keys, a couple of Castle Tower keys. For items, we really just need Ice Rod because we know where the boots are.
Yeah, we need... In terms of items, I think the Ice Rod is really all we need. It's interesting we don't have any bottles yet, which is uncommon. But yeah, I'm thinking, let's see, we still need Swamp Palace small key, Pod big key, Desert big key.
Thieves Town big key.
Yeah, and then our Castle Tower keys. But we're doing relatively well in terms of what kind of items we need, and we're less than an hour into this key sanity race. This is actually going very smooth for the runners right now.
And they're effectively tied as well, except for the fact that Aries gotten that Quake Medallion, which we know is the access to TR.
Yeah, and because we ended up getting that hammer, I can see Haha heading that way before too long. Airy going ahead and doing this side. It's a very dense area of Ice Palace, can get through very quickly.
Yeah, 3 items in 3 consecutive rooms. Well, I guess 4 rooms, because there's this small one.
Hey, big key to Palace of Darkness, almost exactly like we said. So yeah, I almost promise you the Pod Eastern combo is coming next.
Yeah, I would be kind of surprised otherwise.
Well, and we thought it was going to be there, but once we thought it through, oh yeah, doing a dungeon, you can go ahead and clear. That makes sense logically. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and follow the logic here and say, well, now he can complete those. Heads up play by both of the runners because they both made the same play.
I saw Big Red Bomb. I didn't see what it said before that.
I didn't catch it as well. Bombs and sewer key on ferry. So probably gonna skip that one.
Yeah.
Wait, Swamp Palace key or sewer key? Because those are 2 very different things. Yeah, if it said sewer, then yeah, it's not the Swamp Palace key. Sewer is for the back of the escape sequence that we won't need at all. Also, apparently, in Ice Palace, the best cane, the cane of Berna.
Which, given that we have... Well, actually, no, that puts Spike Cave in logic, because technically, with the cape, logic requires either a bottle or half magic.
Absolutely. So, yeah, that puts Spike Cave in logic. Not that I imagine we'll be heading up that direction to check it anytime in the near future when we have, Pod and Eastern that we can go ahead and knock out.
Yeah, it's more just there's now always the off chance that there's something important there.
And that was a beautiful hammer cold stare there by Eriror. That was about as clean as you can expect hammer cold stare to be.
Okay, now we can see for sure that it was Sewer's key. Oh, and I don't think we discussed this for chat's benefit, but you might have noticed that one of the earlier hints in Ice Palace was in green, and every seed has 2 troll hints in it, sometimes that come from the original Zelda game, sometimes that are just totally random. And just to make it obvious what the troll hints are, they appear in green and have a little link icon next to them.
Oh, and Eriror just actually showed us our final pendant is on Turtle Rock. So if you were hoping for Ice Rod on the pedestal, out of luck this time.
But there's nothing saying Ice Rod isn't in GT.
That would be... Oh, God. That would really push our runners to not do Turtle Rock as long as they can. But, man, boots are in Turtle Rock.
Well, and can you imagine if the Ice Rod's on Bob's Torch? That would be an interesting Turtle Rock double dip. For some definition of interesting.
I was going to say, that's not my definition of interesting. Oh, you're seeing Hahasell use an interesting little glitch there. If you use sword beams at just the right moment when the cold stare shell is being damaged by the fire rod, the game will actually register your sword beams as another fire rod shot, so you can save some shots to actually use on cold stare himself.
I was doing very well with the Master Sword, though Hammer's definitely quicker if you can use it well.
Meanwhile, Eriror is doing this Mothula fight, and he's being kind of a pain. He does get him down. Ooh, our small key to Desert Palace. That unlocks 2 treasure locations over there in the desert. Interesting to see if we end up heading that direction before too long, although I'm sure he's going to be waiting for that big key. Question in chat, can book be on pedestal in logic? Yes, and then when you pull it out and read it, it says this is a paradox. All right. Eriror is fluting over... Oh, looks like he's going over to desert. He might be following that key logic there. Meanwhile, Hahasell looks like I don't know where Hahasell's going.
I'm surprised with Pod and Eastern full clearable that he wants to go down this rabbit hole for 2 chests first.
Yeah, I'm a little bit surprised too. Logically, we need 2 more pod keys in order to logically be able to clear the dungeon, although we're certainly capable of going through there. Maybe he's looking for more pod key logic, but we certainly don't need those. Okay, there's the compass to Palace of Darkness.
And our first bottle. So maybe Sick Kid has something. Looks like he's gonna check.
Yeah, he's following this breadcrumb trail hard, isn't he?
Just his life savings. I wonder if he's now going to do hammer pegs. Looks like he might.
Yeah, it looks like he's coming over here to do that. It really is interesting. I could have sworn he would be doing the Pod Eastern combo because it makes logical sense. He's prioritize the dungeons once you can full clear them. We've got the big keys to both Eastern and Pod, and enough Pod keys to go ahead and clear it. I'm a little bit confused on why Aries doing this.
Well, if there's nothing on hammer pegs, this might be Haha's opportunity to take a bit of a lead for the first time.
That would be significant, absolutely. Although we do know that Haha eventually will have to come back here. But we'll know that it'll be kind of more efficient routing at this point. Just a map on the hammer pegs.
So, well, it's nice to have a bottle of red goo just for safety. Thanks, game. Another hint we already knew. Yeah, so I got a bottle of red goo for his troubles, which is nice to have, but by no means required.
I'm a little bit surprised that when Haha came over here, he didn't also turn in the green pendant right away. Just because logic, we can go ahead and turn that in since that was Misery Mire. Eri is coming over here to the Pod Eastern neighborhood now. We'll see what he ends up deciding to do. Turtle Rock Smoky. Meanwhile, a big key to Desert Palace. Sahasrara, meanwhile, gives us just a dinner plate.
He was probably planning to give, a nice little Fisher Price present to his grandkid or something, but instead Link bribed him with the green pendant.
Well, when the hero of time needs equipment, you go ahead and you give him some equipment. Oh, Haha is going to be checking these treasures here. This is okay. Just a piece of heart here. Eriror, meanwhile, is starting in Eastern Palace. Here's kind of the interesting thing. Without the boots, we can't Well, I guess we can eventually. Man, that's a long walk to be able to get the one treasure chest that's there on. It's in the front half of Palace of Darkness. Haha's going to eventually get it. All right, so Hahasell is working his way through Palace of Darkness. Eri is on his way back here to Armos Knights. Yeah, this is the long way that we were talking about a second ago for Hahasell, having to walk all the way around in order to get this one treasure chest that's over here.
But at least he doesn't use that key.
That's important when you only have 4 pod keys, all for the map to Tower of Hera. $50 from Armos Knights, and more importantly, the other 5/6 crystal. Another small key to Turtle Rock. Man, now we're starting to get all the hints that say go to Turtle Rock. Single rupee.
Yeah, I think if we don't check the middle chest, that's enough keys to get us through Turtle Rock. Except, of course, that Haha doesn't have Quake yet.
Yeah, that's an issue. Okay, now here comes an interesting decision from Hahasell. He's only got 1 key to pod left. If he can hammer yump, he can get the remaining treasure chests that are over here, and I think he's going to try to set that up. If not, he would have to burn it and would not be able to defeat the boss right at the moment. Man,
Go ahead.
I was going to say he's spending a lot of time doing this pause buffering.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I figured the runners would not have come in here with 4 keys if they weren't planning to try the hammer yump. Ooh.
So yep, I'm going to reset, try again. The hammer yump really is something that's very important for key sanity. I would say it's more important than even the Ice Palace bomb jump because of the sheer number of keys you need in pod. Saving even 1 can save a ton of time, and he nails it. And he's rewarded with this key to Swamp Palace.
There we go, so... I guess we're a Thieves Town big key and an ice rod away from go mode now. Oh, and the 2 castle tower keys. We still haven't seen either of them.
Well, and if you saw the first race between Haha and Eriror, you know that both castle tower keys were found almost side by side in Ganon's tower. So, I mean, they can absolutely logically be there. So, look, I hope not. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we still need the Thieves Town big key before GT is in logic. We need the ice rod for Ped to be in logic. So, if there's an important item in any of those places, we first need to find one of those 2 immediate items. Could be on Helmasaur.
So I'm hearing that Eri did use a key to open the front door. The difference therein being is that Eri... Oh, yeah, he's going to be out of keys. He's going to have to either sacrifice not opening the door to this lower portion or not doing the boss. And man, this is a rough spot for Eri.
Well, he could just sacrifice Harmless Hellway.
He could, and I think that's what he's going to end up doing. We know that there's nothing in there, but man, that's so risky because that plays with the back of your mind for the rest of the race.
Other than, well, it wasn't in logic anyway for precisely this reason.
Haha, with a very nice fight there in the terror pin room. Meanwhile, Eri is right on his tail as he's working through here.
Nice quick kill on Helmasaur.
And another... Oh, big key to Thieves Town.
There we go. GT is now in logic.
So, with that, I mean, Haha will still be doing the Eastern Palace dip right now, but I mean, logically, we now have access to Desert Palace, Swamp Palace, and Thieves Town. We are, I mean, then, presuming you don't go all the way to the back, we're only missing an Ice Rod from Go Mode at this point in time, other than those 2 Castle Tower keys.
Which could truly be anywhere, as we've discussed. And I mean, literally any unopened chest could contain a Castle Tower key.
Yeah, they're everywhere. So it could be in Ganon's Tower. It could be in any of those checks. Man, can you imagine it being in Turtle Rock in that center treasure chest? Mm.
And suppose one is there and the other, just to troll us, is in the second Castle Tower chest.
Man, that just gave me shivers. And what would that be for 2 races in a row if all of the Castle Tower keys, because that was their first race. Both of the Castle Tower keys in their first race were side by side in Ganon's Tower. What if that's the case in this one as well?
Well, at least the side-by-side part was nice. There's also the chance that they're in Ganon's Tower nowhere near each other.
Alright, so Eriror is now going to Thieves Town. He wants to knock that one out first. There's going to be 4 item checks down there, so it makes sense for him wanting to do that. Swamp Palace will also have quite a few checks as well.
And logically, neither of the remaining pod keys could be in the back of Thieves Town or in most of Swamp Palace.
Oh, here's Haha going to be routing in also. He hasn't done Skull Woods yet, So he's going to have to route this in at the same time that when he's doing Thieves Town. Piece of Heart is in the dark. Thanks, game.
Yeah, so hopefully while Haha's in this area, he'll remember to check Magic Bat.
I certainly hope so, because he's already kind of, I would say, behind. I mean, it's not perfect, and it's still anyone's race, but I would say Eri has the advantage at this point in time. So him putting off that Magic Bat check, which we know is required, that would be really rough for Haha.
Yeah, if he doesn't go there while he's in the Village of Outcasts area, it would be very difficult for him to catch up.
Question in chat: what's in Bat? The Quake Medallion, which we know is required to get into Turtle Rock.
Now, we haven't seen a hint about the left side of Swamp, right?
Not this race, I do not believe.
So we have to worry about whether there's anything there.
So far, I haven't really seen anything terribly exciting in Thieves Town other than another dungeon we'll be able to complete. However, Blind is still here, and Eriror's perfect blind fight.
But only some money. I'm assuming they'll do Desert before Swamp just on the off chance that there's progression in the Big Chest or Landmo. Yep, Harry's going to Desert.
Makes total sense. We did see him make the check earlier into the side rooms. Looks like he's going to be checking the big treasure chest and then going right to the back in Landmo.
Yes, he will have done a triple dip of Desert in this race, even though we now know it would have been completely possible to only single dip Desert.
Well, I don't necessarily blame him for the earlier dips, especially given how early we had access to Flute and the mitts, knowing that, he just felt like something was hinting him this direction. There's another Palace of Darkness small key, so logically, we know that all the treasures are now in Logic.
Well, and for the same reason we knew that there weren't going to be pod small keys in the back of Thieves Town or most of Swamp, so there were relatively few places we could have found the remaining pod small keys.
Yep. And a question in chat, and I forgive you for not necessarily knowing, it's been a while. The Ganon's Tower Big Key was in the race game. So it was in Kakariko Village. We've had it for a while. The problem
Which
with
also...
that...
Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say... You go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say that that reminds me, props to our tracker, who has really been keeping on top of all these keys. And you can, in fact, see all the various big keys and small keys marked on the tracker.
Absolutely. Now, it's worth noting, though, even though we got the early Ganon's Tower Big Key, because this is an all dungeons run, we do eventually have to do Aga 1, and we don't have any of the Castle Tower keys yet. So that means, even though we have the Ganon's Tower Big Key, and we could theoretically just go right up from the top, we're still going to be hunting around in Ganon's Tower, I have a feeling, in order for us to find those Castle Tower keys.
Unless they're both in Swamp.
That is too nice, and this is Key Sanity, so the game does not know how to be that nice.
I mean, between the Ice Rod and the 2 Castle Tower keys, I'm really hoping at least one of them is in Swamp.
Well, we said earlier we don't know. We haven't gotten any hints in terms of what's on the left side of Swamp, so I imagine we'll be checking those at this point.
Haha, doing a very nice blind fight as well. And now's the moment of truth for Haha. Will he remember to check Magic Bat?
And our hint tile gave us the Eastern Palace Big Key is in Thieves Town. Thanks, game. It does look like Haha's at least doing hammer pegs. We'll see if he remembers.
Given that he's gone back here, I would be surprised if he forgets, but you never know.
Stranger things have happened in Rando.
Yes, I once tracked a game where the second glove upgrade was in the back of Blind's hut, and one of the runners did the front of Blind's hut, bombed the passage to the back, and completely forgot to go back there.
Are you sure that wasn't me running? Because that sounds like something I would do.
I can assure you it wasn't you.
Oh, and he's doing it. Magic Bat. Well done here, haha. So he'll get his baking coin and breathe a bit of a sigh of relief, because I'm pretty sure he knows that as well.
So now both runners are in the same position item-wise.
There was a hint for Hera Basement, chat. I know chat's talking about various things where they could possibly be. We did get a hint for Hera's Basement, so even though we don't have the key, we know what's down there, and we know it's worthless.
Yeah. It was a heart container, but given how much health both of these runners have, there is roughly a 0 chance that either of them would go for it.
I like how we say roughly 0, because, you know, again, stranger things have happened.
I don't want to count anything out.
All right. In the meantime, Eri is going to the back or to the left side of Swamp Palace. Again, with everything that we still need, I can understand him not wanting to leave anything to chance at this point.
You think when all is said and done, we'll break 200 for the collection rate?
They came close last game. They were, I think, Eri had like a 187 collection rate in their standard mode. All dungeons key sanity, so we could come close. Depends on how deep we have to dive into Ganon's tower for those castle tower keys.
I mean, if the game really liked us, which it doesn't, we would find the ice rod and both castle tower keys in the back of Swamp here, and then we'd go mode Turtle Rock and Ganon's tower.
Yeah, I just don't know. It would require a lot of things being really deep in Ganon's tower. It would require Ice Rod to be, I would say almost the last treasure chest before Moldorm too. Because that is logically possible, since it is a pendant dungeon. It's not required. We can clear Ganon's tower before we could have logical access to Turtle Rock completion.
So that raises the question, though. After this, assuming you're not in go mode, do you go to GT first since you know you can clear it, or do you go to Turtle Rock since you know you can get the boots?
That's a good question. I would gamble. I would gamble that Ice Rod is in Turtle Rock. I would do that first.
It certainly hides out there enough of the time.
And I say that fully understanding it's a gamble because, man, that's a flip a coin sort of choice. Chat reminding us, and I think this was one of our first hints, that a unique item is in the Swamp Palace big chest. Yeah, our wonderful tracker, Sandris, is telling us that. So, yeah. The only unique items we have left, I mean, we have the red boomerang, we have the book, we have the ice rod. I don't think we've even seen the single arrow, so that's a possibility.
And I think that's it. Because sword upgrades do not count as unique items.
Well, also big keys, although we have our big keys.
I don't believe big keys count as unique items.
Really? Okay.
Because if they did, you could always get the clue in normal mode that there's a unique item in whatever palace, because the big key has to be in its own palace in normal mode.
That's true, and I do know that the hint system requires that it be true for all modes, including inverted, which has some strange things associated with it.
And including Randomizer, too.
All right, so Eri finished off Swamp Palace right as Haha is coming into Swamp Palace. Let's see. We have our access to Ganon's tower. Let's see. We still don't have the boots. Those are guaranteed to be in Turtle Rock, since we did get that hint earlier. What's the call? Man, that's a good question you posited, because I don't know what the right answer is.
And in the meantime, I guess Eri never did do Pyramid and Catfish.
Question in chat, did Eri win the first game earlier? Yes, he did. The earlier match that was today in the first part of our doubleheader was, instead of an open mode All Dungeons Key Sanity was a standard mode All Dungeons Key Sanity, and Eri did win that. I think Hahasell was in Ganon's Tower right around the time that Eri finished it up, so it was still very close. But Eri did win the first match. Eri, and we mentioned this earlier, is currently undefeated in group stages. He is just tearing through everyone, although he has not faced off against OS 101 yet, who is an 8-2 record. Oh, Zor's stream rating us with a party of 12. Thank you, everyone from Zor's stream, for joining us, and welcome to this back end of the doubleheader here. Double Key Sanity. You gotta wonder about the mental state of these guys at this point, because at this point in time, they've been playing Key Sanity for about 4 hours now.
I just wonder why both of them picked these settings. At least they're not doing hard mode.
Yeah, they might be slightly masochistic. So Eri is at least heading up Death Mountain, which is kind of the only option we have. We just don't know if he's doing Turtle Rock or if he's doing Ganon's Tower yet. I mean, it could be either one. Yeah, there's one more key needed to full clear Turtle Rock. And he didn't do a save and quit, so I was wondering if he would save and quit prior in order to save a key, but looks like he's going to at least the Turtle Rock entrance.
Well, you might as well open Turtle Rock regardless of anything.
True.
Because the last time he was up here, he didn't have the hammer. That feels like ages ago.
We're hearing Catfish had the last Turtle Rock small key, so he has 4 keys. He's good to go into Turtle Rock if he wants to.
Then where's Hahasell missing his last Turtle Rock small key from?
I have no idea. Yeah, we're still missing Ice Rod, and we're still missing those 2 Castle Tower keys. Are just driving me insane. Oh, there's the small key to Hera. We know that's a bust.
And there's still that big key to Swamp that we know there's something unique in the big chest. Could be the Ice Rod.
Yeah, not a lot of items that could possibly be at this point in time, which is interesting. And he's done. He says he's getting the first part of it. I think he was hoping for the boots in that first part of it and says, no, I am outie.
Now, what's interesting is, with only 2 keys to Ganon's Tower, I'm not sure how much exploration he can do. Or is he immediately going to go up and beat Aga 2 and then see?
I gotta think he's not going to go immediately up. You still need Ice Rod. You still need 2 Castle Tower keys. I think you're opening as many treasures as you possibly can. Chat, I I see it, API dev. This is a reasonable decision I would probably never make. I I see you.
And I don't know the... Oh.
Big key to Skull Woods that we've never seen. There's another item located.
Yes, right. We know nothing about what's in that chest.
Ice Rod guessing game? No, guys, we're not. We're not doing that. Oh, and Eri is doing the he's doing Tile Room. He says there's too much to do.
Desperate times call for desperate measures. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what's the maximum number of chests you can open if you walk into GT with 2 keys. I know there are obviously several keys that are available under pots.
Oh, there's the Ice Rod in the Tile Room. Oh my god.
Tile room required.
That's horrible and amazing all at the same time. He feels great about that check. I mean, that's something that you don't see everyone making. Although we did see Eri make that check earlier in his first race. It didn't lead to anything, but it paid off in spades for this one.
Meanwhile, Haha's checking Spike Cave, which we also haven't seen yet.
Red Meringue.
Lovely troll item. And Eri's actually keeping at GT. I was kind of wondering, since he was going to have to mirror anyway, whether at that point he'd go out, clear Turtle Rock, and then come back if he didn't find anything there.
He might be clearing the basement and then heading over there. There's a Castle Tower small key and a Tempered Sword.
Now we're in business. So both races featured at least one Castle Tower small key in that room. What are the odds?
I'm sure someone can calculate it, but no one ever tell me the odds. See, and here's the thing. This is one of those instances where I don't think you want to finish Castle Tower, right? Or you don't want to finish Ganon's Tower. Because as soon as you finish it, you're immediately teleported back down the mountain. And you don't want to have to make that climb again if you can avoid it. So I think you finish off all these treasures, warp back to the beginning, and then nope out and do Turtle Rock.
Well, and now that we have one Castle Tower key, the trolliest location for the other Castle Tower key would be in its vanilla location. Oh, and there's the book, so now the tablets are in play.
Yeah, I think you do all these checks, and then you go do Turtle Rock. Well, you can even go ahead and check Ether Tablet while it's here, because why not check Ether Tablet while it's right here?
And with Turtle Rock being clearable, the pedestal's in play too.
Wait, so does that mean a bottle was the item that was in the treasure chest in Swamp Palace? Like a bottle filled with, I don't know, a goo of some sort, where it's a unique item? Or is it legitimately, at this point, the only thing that it could be would be the single arrow?
Yeah, I think it's got to be the single arrow there.
Oh, Misery Mire.
That would have been awesome if it had been a Castle Tower key, but oh well. Oh, right, and because he didn't do Turtle Rock all the way, he doesn't have the boots and had to bomb jump there.
Yep.
Fortunately, Haha's also thinking to do Tile Room, so he will get his Ice Rod shortly.
Well, normally when you come in Ganon's Tower, you're only needing one item, so it's a smaller percent. I mean, when you're looking for, at this point, 3 items, Tile Room makes a little bit more sense to just go ahead and do when you're here. All right, that's it. We still only have 1 Castle Tower key, and Eri is leaving. He is going to be going over here, checking the Ether tablet. But then I got to think he's going back over to Turtle Rock to knock that out since we can.
Yeah, Turtle Rock certainly has the highest remaining item density.
And it's a dungeon we have to complete, and you want to avoid coming back up here to Death Mountain if at all you can possibly. Or he's not. He's going to do Spike.
Oh. Unfortunately, we know that's a waste of time.
And Haha is heading over here to Turtle Rock. He's making the same plays. We have a race here, guys.
But Haha did not do the left side of GT, so he will still need to go back there, if for nothing else than one of the Castle Tower keys.
Oh, he just did right side and then noped out? Huh, okay. This is confirmed, not boots required, right? No, it's not confirmed, not boots required, because we still have Bonk Rocks and King's Tomb that we need to check, which might have our thing.
And as stated, that second Castle Tower key could literally be in any location that has not yet been checked. Including its vanilla location.
If it's in its vanilla location, then I can easily see us doing getting a 200 treasure count. We'll see what ends up happening though. Eri coming back to Turtle Rock now. If it's in Turtle Rock, I think we'll be fine. They'll go mode everything from here on out. But Eri has already cleared out the bottom half of Turtle Rock, or of Ganon's Tower. Hahasell will likely be doing that as well. Oh boy. We don't have a big key guessing game, so let's go ahead and get some guesses in chat. Have some fun with it. We're not going to award anything, but what's going to be our treasure count for both of our runners here? Let's get some guesses, because let's have some fun.
There's our butter sword.
I mean, that's nice for Eri, but it's even nicer for Haha, who hadn't yet gotten that last sword. I can't imagine doing Trinex here with Master Sword when your opponent has Tempered. That's just a huge time loss.
Well, with the butter sword, Eri can now, if he comes from behind, even do a 0 cycle on Trinex.
Here's the rough part. Haha still is missing one of the... Or are they both missing a Turtle Rock big key? They're both skipping the middle one, so I think they're both missing a key yet.
Yeah. Yeah, you can see their key count's the same. But they both have 2 keys left.
All right, as we're going through here, the only thing we're looking for is that second castle tower key. Haha will still be clearing everything because he does not know that there was one in the very same room that they found the double in their first race.
Oh, we have the GT map now. I think it's a crystal. What do you think?
Nah, pendant. All right. So, as we're going, we're approaching the laser bridge, which is kind of the last big dense check left of the game, other than climbing Ganon's tower itself. Otherwise, it's a lot of one-off checks. Just a ton of them. We have a check in Skull Woods for the big key, big treasure chest. We have a check in Castle Tower itself.
There are the boots. I knew they had to be in here somewhere.
Dark Palace, Smokey. He paused. Oh no, is that it? This dungeon!
So now the central chest, the vanilla big key chest, is in logic.
I had nothing. Oh man.
Probably if you're down here, you beat Trinex first and then you go back and check that.
Yeah, but think about that. 2 small keys on Laser Bridge. Your heart stops on both of them. And it's not. Oh my goodness.
So what else do we have? We have Bombos, Pedestal, Bonk Rocks, King's Tomb. And yes, Harry is going to try for the 0 cycle on Trinex here. And he gets the 0 cycle.
Very nicely done, Eri.
Already has the cane out, so he's definitely going back in to check the vanilla big key chest.
I don't think there's anything else you can reasonably do at this point. There's another small key, is it? Ganon's Tower.
Oh!
Just twist that knife a little bit more. Here's the other thing that would just be... Mwah. We don't know what's on the pedestal yet.
Right. But we still have 1 more chest in Turtle Rock and 4 more chests in GT before we check anything that's not on Death Mountain.
Haha's going back for it, too. Which confuses me, because you have to beat Turtle Rock anyway.
And that's a long way to go back.
Yeah, it is. I think Eri had the better logical routing there.
But Haha will be the first one to show us what's in here.
5 rupees.
Wow.
Oh, and he did the save over here, so he mirrored right back. So not
okay.
too bad.
That makes a lot more sense. Actually, with checking all these chests, I wonder if we will see the fabled 2,000 rupee seed.
Oh man, we're at 1861 for Eri, and he's going up the tower. Was PED checked? No, we have not been able to check the PED. We only just got the book. So, yeah, Eriror's going to climb the tower. Remember, we still need to do AGA 1, and we are short 1 castle tower key.
And Haha's about to get his false hope when he sees a key for beating Trinex and realizes it's the wrong key.
How many small keys are still out there? I mean, really. So Eri climbing the tower.
Making his way through the gauntlet.
Very clean gauntlet, by the way.
It helps when you have silvers in the butter sword.
True. I mean, we've opened a ton of treasure chests at this point. They're going to be as equipped as ever. 3 bottles. So we're missing at this point a bottle and that key.
Very nice takedown of Lanmo there. He's not even bothering with the cane for those Swiss ropes. It's like, too much time menuing. Haha gets his first castle tower key and his butter sword.
All right, here's a couple treasure checks for Eriror here. Nope. Nope.
We just have pre-Moldorm and post-Moldorm.
There it is. Oh,
wow.
Man.
And at an hour 58, Eriror is in go mode.
So in both seeds, back-to-back seeds today, we had all the castle tower keys were in Ganon's tower. Now here's the question. Will Haha also climb Ganon's tower in hopes for that key, or is he going to nope out?
I would hope he stays here just for the same reason of you don't have to go back to Death Mountain.
No, that should have been a triple, but I think it ended up being a double.
Yeah. Too many hitting at the same time. 2-2-1 officially, even though he's clearly hit him more than that.
All right, so Eriror kills Aga too, but we got some more work to do.
One of the nice side benefits of doing all dungeons is if you don't have to kill Aga 1 sooner and you kill him right before Ganon, you get that free health and magic refill.
That's true. Not that any of these runners particularly need it. Both Eriror and Hahasell are among the better runners in our community, so I could probably take Ganon, especially with this equipment loadout.
And 10 gazillion hearts.
Is that a technical term?
Yes.
Eri not even opening up the other treasure chest. We did eons ago have to come into Castle Tower because that's where our Moon Pearl was.
Whoa, Haha just noped out. He went to upstairs, got to the first room.
He might have been
only checking the tablet here and isn't going to, just to make sure he's gotten everything off of Death Mountain before beating Aga 2 warps him down.
All right, so guys, get your guesses in chat. I've seen a lot of guesses in chat so far. I don't know if we're going to break the 200. That is exceedingly rare, but man, we're close. There's not a ton of treasure locations that we haven't checked.
Though remember, there are a few places we checked visually, like hammer pegs, that we didn't actually collect, so that doesn't count towards the total.
This is true. Yeah, I'm gonna say we're probably in the neighborhood of what the game was before. I'm gonna officially guess 186, which is right where Eri was at the end of the last race.
And I think I'll guess 191. I think we're going to break 190 if we don't hit 200. Meanwhile, get your guesses in for blue balls on Aga.
196. I mean, wait.
Maybe we'll get the mythical no blue balls.
Everything I want to say in response to that is not appropriate for this.
Someone had to go there.
Oh, you jinxed it. So Haha is now actually climbing and doing the gauntlet. So he was just checking. I guess he was maybe just a little bit nervous about that ether tablet, wanting to check it now before he leave the mountain.
There we go. Fine, I jinxed it, but the nice thing was we didn't have to get to the second lightning strike or anything.
True. And now Eriror at 203.08. We have insect facts.
This is going to be a very quick Ganon fight.
Already phase 3. We didn't quite hit the 2,000 rupee mark either, although Haha is at 1972.
I think there were some more rupees in that Helmasaur, in one of those Helmasaur room chests, so he's going to be really close to 2,000 by the time he gets go mode.
$1992.
That was a good year. This game had been out for what, a year or two in 1992? And get your G's in for Eriror.
GG Eriror with the double win. Oh, what a race.
And almost exactly the same winning time as the previous race. They were both 2:04 and change.
204.39. Let's see if we can't get Eriror in here for a quickie interview. GG, Eriror, on your back-to-back key sanity wins where the castle tower keys just didn't want to leave Ganon's tower.
Yeah, something about PRNG being fixed, right? I mean, there are so many items were in the same like general location: boots, bow, castle tower keys. Yeah, it was interesting to see.
You could say that. So, what were you guys thinking with both of you picking key sanity all dungeons?
Well, I guess we both felt like we didn't have enough sleep, so we just wanted to, have a nice lullaby, just fall asleep to the seed twice, and full clear everything. Because, I mean, that's kind of what you pick it for. I felt like that I had the execution advantage over pretty much anyone. And, well, all dungeons key sanity basically means you try to full clear the seed as efficiently as possible and then win via having better movement. Yeah. And, I mean, I'm not exactly sure what Hahasell was thinking. He might think the same, or he just really enjoys it. I mean, I enjoy doing this as well, that helps. It's maybe twice in a row was a bit much, but yeah, that was at least that was my reasoning behind picking 80 keys.
Was there anything in either of these seeds that really surprised you? Like, you're like, well, that was unexpected. I mean, I know it's random, and you're like, oh, okay.
No, not really. I think it was pretty typical key sanity. You like both seeds having a required like GT basement is maybe not as typical, but you see it quite a bit. So I guess like in the first game, having the hookshot be on the left side and also the castle tower keys being in the same room, that was pretty interesting. And then having to look for the GTB key, which could also technically have been in Feast on Big Chest. But yeah, I mean, that's key sanity.
Speaking of GT basement, do you normally check tile room pretty early on when you're doing GT basement and key sanity?
If I need free items, yeah. I still needed.
Fair enough.
I shot in both castle tower keys, so I think there's a decent chance that one of them at least is there. And doing it is, if you're gonna do it anyway, then you might as well do it at the start.
Yeah, I mean, it sure paid off, and Hahasell did the same thing.
Yeah, that's.
Was there at any point in time? I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. I was finished.
I was going to say, was there at any point in time that you felt like you were ahead or behind in the race when, I mean, the early part of that, at least the second race had, you both seemed to kind of bottleneck right there around Desert Palace and then waiting for that Moon Pearl in the castle tower itself.
Yeah, I wasn't too happy with the early game. I was considering going to Castle Tower before Eastern, but I wouldn't really have changed much because I still wouldn't have Darkwold access until I went to Eastern. I wasn't too happy about how I managed my money. Maybe I should have done who they have first before I got the flippers or something, just in case that Zora is a play, because we didn't get a whole lot of money. So in the end, like after I got the gloves, I decided to do it and then go to Zora. But I kind of held off of that area for a while, and that didn't really make me happy. After I got Darkwold access, I was pretty okay, I think, with the early skull dip, getting hookshot, and then after all that stuff going to East of Mountain. But then right after I went to Meyer and got the hammer, I was like, oh, I know that the boots are in Total Rock, and now I technically have access to the front. So that could be awkward if Hahasell did it in the opposite order, went to Meyer first, then went to East of Mountain, like dips the front of Total Rock and the boots are there. Then I could be behind. But yeah, I wasn't gonna go back there just for free items, because it is a long trip and the boots weren't guaranteed. that was basically the only part where I was like, okay, maybe this doesn't work out.
Well, you guys effectively were following in each other's steps. There wasn't a whole lot of route divergence there between you. And then there was, that wonderful Misery Mire. It felt like the entire seed was just egging you on to go to Misery Mire. You waited until you could full clear it, and then it had both the hammer and the bow. Like, boom, boom.
Yeah, again, the bow in Misery Mire. The first seed, it was interesting that you knew that the bow was a Misery Mire, but you really had to find the individual pieces to go in there, which were locked by Turtle Rock in that seed. So that was pretty cool. And this time it was kind of the unknown that really leads to the unknown Misery Mire that leads to the entire seed being open.
So, while we're still waiting for Hahasell here, how are you feeling about the tournament? I mean, you're still undefeated, which is really impressive this far into the groups.
Yeah, I'm feeling good. I think I got relatively lucky when it came to the group. So, and I still need to play all of my games against the number 2 seed, Aussie. So I'm not sure how that is going to go yet. We still need to schedule our matches. We have been pretty lax with that. So those will be next week. But the problem with the tournament so far is that I'm the only European in our group. So scheduling is kind of nasty at times, considering I had a few busy weekends as well. But yeah, matchup-wise, I'm not unhappy. I think I have a chance of going 15-0. I'm just gonna try, in the hopes to stay undefeated, and then just see how far I'm able to get.
And get your GGs in chat now for Hahasell, who finishes little over 7 minutes behind.
Looks like an official time of 2 hours and 12 minutes even. So GG Hahasell. See if we can't grab him as well. $186 collection rate. Yeah.
Wow, you nailed it.
Yeah.
Or else you were secretly counting.
Yes, because I have nothing better to do while doing commentary than to check off the number of items collected for someone. Oh, I mean, you had a 186 collection rate in the last race too, so I was just kind of following the line there.
Oh really? I didn't remember actually. That's pretty whack. Pretty similar time, pretty similar collection rate.
So Hahasell now joins us. GG.
Oh, thanks. GG, Eri. It was a great race.
Yeah, GG's.
Yeah, I guess. Tell us your thoughts on doing 2 Key Sanity all dungeons in a row.
I mean, I like Key Sanity, so I was pretty hyped to be able to do 2 in a row. It's actually funny because Eriror decided to pick for the first match. That was actually the settings that I was going to choose for my match. So I was just like, all right, well, I still want to do Key Sanity. I guess I'll just switch it up to open. So it's pretty good.
Why not? As long as you guys don't mind playing for more than 4 hours straight.
I mean, it's still less than an average Ocarina of Time randomizer seed, so...
Yeah, you're not wrong there. Haha, I was going to ask you about all those Castle Tower keys. They were just all in both runs hanging out in Ganon's Tower. That's, see one up there, pretty common to see all 4 in back-to-back races. Makes you raise your eyebrow a little bit, doesn't it?
Yeah, it was pretty nerve-wracking. The other thing that we were talking about in IRC was about how the boots were in Turtle Rock, both seeds, so that was a little weird as well.
Yeah, and the bow and Misery Mire both times as well. So it was all just, okay, sure.
So how did you feel, Haha, going through? Was there a point in time that you felt ahead or behind in, and specifically the second race, or even in the first race, since, you guys didn't interview for that one? Did you feel good about some checks that you made, or what else was going through your mind as you were running through this?
For the first one, it was definitely Hookshot Cave after Turtle Rock, because I had forgotten to check that one chest, and it burned me pretty hard because it had the pod big key, which I kind of needed. So I felt behind. I felt like, it was pretty much over at that point in the first one. This one, I actually felt pretty good. Like, getting that ice rod in GT before going to Turtle Rock was a really good call, and I felt like I had a chance to win this one. It was still a pretty close race, about 8 minutes separating the two of us, so I was pretty happy with that.
Yeah, you guys were really close a lot of the time, I would say. Overall, just, Aries' routing was a little bit better. But since you both had to check pretty much everything anyway, that's what it really came down to.
Yeah, I mean, for all dungeons key sanity, you're pretty well gambling 100% seed at any point in time, so it becomes an execution race. And Haha, you're definitely up there in the execution. Did that play a factor into your choice, or did you just I like key sanity, let's do it?
I mean, personally, I just like key sanity. I know that's weird to hear, but yeah, I mean, I feel like my execution today was pretty solid overall. I didn't really make many mistakes. It really just came down to routing in both of the races at the end of it.
Yeah, I can imagine liking key sanity. I mean, I had a blast with the previous tournament, so when I realized I could just play key sanity at least 5 times this tournament as well, okay, let's go.
And then see how many of your opponents also wanted to do key sanity.
I'm happy at least one of them does. So. Just a shame that the third game won't be key sanity. But...
At least it's all dungeons.
Yeah, exactly. I think all dungeons is probably the better overall tourney format, because it reduces variance a little bit. But then again, variance is part of what makes Randomizer so fun. It's just in a tournament race, you don't want to get randoed. So that's kind of the reason why I've been picking all dungeons a lot.
Yeah, it's pretty true.
So the question for both of you, and I don't know if you've even discussed this yet, what are your vetoes for the final race between you two?
I vetoed Swordless because after Hahasell picked all dungeons key sanity against me, I figured he wouldn't veto all dungeons, so I would take the gamble on the 50-50.
Yeah, and I ended up vetoing Defeat Ganon because, I don't know, I just like hundoing seeds, so all dungeons is right up my alley.
Yeah, I would probably veto or Defeat Ganon against most opponents as well, but that's just because I'm afraid that they will veto all dungeons.
And it looks like that last game is going to be Saturday morning Eastern Time, 10:30. Oh, and you're playing inverted mode on that. Okay.
Yeah.
Bit more of a twist there.
Yeah, we didn't really have an option. But it should be a good race.
Should be.
fun.
All right. Any last minute thoughts from either of you guys before we try to get things signed off here?
I guess aside from the usual thanks to Hahasell for the 2 races, thanks to both the commentary teams and trackers, and yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the show.
Yeah, and definitely thanks to Sanders316, our tracker, who really kept on top of what was a very full tracker by the end of the game.
Oh, right. There was a hint that the Swamp Palace Big Chest had a unique item, right?
Must have been the
Yeah,
single
there
arrow
was.
because you guys got everything else.
Oh, wait, didn't we get that?
Could it have been a bottle? I don't think we saw the fourth one.
It could have been a fourth ball. I was like looking for it, and I was like, oh well, this probably has to be the ice rock by now. And then we found everything in GT. It was so weird.
Yeah, I really thought that was going to be the ice rod too. I was a little worried.
Yeah, a bottle can't actually be hinted as a unique item, so I think it must have been the single arrow because I can't imagine anything else that would have qualified for that hint.
Yeah, that makes sense. Man, I would have gotten so debated.
Same.
So with that, we should probably sign off. Looks like Hahasell did manage to break 190 here. So at least one of our runners broke the fabled 190. But yes, thank you to both of our runners. Please give them a follow. As for the tournament itself, we actually have another doubleheader going on right now on Speed Gaming 3. And it looks like Hahasell's actually about to turn around and become tracker for that one in an hour. You up for watching even more, Haha, now that you're playing?
Oh, 6 hours, 7 hours straight of rando. Couldn't imagine anything better to do on this Thursday.
But
it's not even key sanity.
All right. Yeah, lots of rando on that Speed Gaming 3. It's a doubleheader between In the Name of DT and Ryewick at 4:30 Eastern over on Speed Gaming 2. So right here, we're going to have an inverted hard mode seed between Hitsuyan and Shady Force. My gosh, just so much rando going on today. Not to mention the community race that's coming up here in about an hour. Just, it's everywhere.
yeah, basically tune to SG2 or SG3 anytime for the rest of the day if you want to see more of these tournament games.
But other than that, I think we should sign off. I do want to give one last shout out to Sandris doing all that work, and make sure to follow both Hahasell and Eriror putting on all the work for us. Thank you guys, and also big shout out Drossi. Thanks for joining me on this one, man.
And thanks to you too. It's been a blast.
Absolutely. But for those of us here at Speed Gaming and Link to the Past Randomizer, we're going to go ahead and sign off. We'll see you guys at the next race. Have a great one.